This week on HBO's Inside the NFL. The Denver Broncos busted through Pittsburgh's defense to make the Super Bowl as a wild card. Terrell Davis achieved his first success on the gridiron in hometown San Diego. Now he returns triumphantly. Joining us to talk about the big game are Broncos tight end Shannon Sharpe and Packers defensive end Reggie White. And we go inside the playoffs where we try and determine if repeating will be more difficult for the Packers. The show the pros watch, Inside the NFL, with your hosts, Len Dawson, Nick Bonacati, Chris Collinsworth, and Jerry Glanville.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to this week's show. Gentlemen, after all the games played this year, we now know who is going to be playing in Super Bowl 32. It's going to be the defending champion Green Bay Packers and the Denver Broncos. I want to take you back to the very first show that we had. We all predicted who was going to be playing in Super Bowl 32, and one of us got it exactly right.
Was it me, Len?
Well, you picked the Cardinals and the Colts, so I doubt it was you.
Nebraska didn't
get in there.
You picked Green Bay, but this guy is on a roll. He knew in the first show it was going to be Green Bay and Denver.
All right, Chris, way to go,
man. No way.
Oh, don't leave me hanging.
No. We got to find a way for the AFC to defeat the NFC because the AFC's lost 13 Super Bowls in a row. And, Nick, this time around, the Broncos are the big underdogs.
And 3 of those losses were by the Denver Broncos. Guess who the quarterback was? John Elway. And the last loss with the San Francisco 49ers was 55-10. As a matter of fact, the people in Denver were so embarrassed, they didn't want their team to win the AFC Championship the next year. But it's a lot different this year. John Elway's a sentimental favorite to win.
I do think, though, this is the best team that John Elway has taken into a Super Bowl. Don't forget that the Broncos have the #1 defense in the AFC.
And he's taking a running game with him. He's never done that before.
That's right.
Well, gentlemen, we are analysts, so I want to analyze this situation, figure out why the NFC has dominated the AFC.
Well, I think you have to go back to the 80s. It's the offensive line. The Giants were the first ones. They built a big offensive line, put a running game behind that. Now you look at the Green Bay Packers. 3 of the #1 picks are offensive linemen. The latest one, Ross Verba.
And when you look at the competition within the NFC, of course, San Francisco is so dominant in the 80s, also the Redskins. And then the Dallas Cowboys and Jerry Jones tried to one-up the 49ers, and the 49ers got competitive, came back, spent some more money. You threw Green Bay into the mix, and the battle came to be over the NFC Championship, and they really just left the AFC in the dust.
Jerry, let me bring you in because you coach playoff teams in both the AFC and the NFC. What's your take on it?
Well, I have to agree with Nick. I think up to 5 years ago, it was the commitment to offensive linemen. Spend that first-round pick. But I think that gap has really closed because you look at Jacksonville's offensive line, you look at Kansas City's, you look at New England's, and I think the strength, really, of the Denver Broncos offense is their offensive line.
Don't give up on the Broncos just yet. Last year, how many people gave New England a chance to win?
Nobody.
You analyze that game, it was Desmond Howard and the kicking game that was the difference. You might have seen the AFC Championship game last Sunday, but not like we're going to show you. We put a microphone on both head coaches, Mike Shanahan and Bill Cowher, for the emotion-packed game.
This is the game face of the 90s. With an air of stoic dignity, an average Steeler fan contemplated the season's biggest game. It's been 14 years since an AFC team has won a Super Bowl, and the winner of this game would earn the right to end that dubious string. Both the Broncos and Steelers have been down this road before, having played 15 championship games between them.
That's what it's all about. Absolutely, baby.
All right, no second chances, but let's light it up. No second chances, Byron. Light it up.
Feel free to smile at any time, okay? Good.
Great day to be alive. Go kick their ass. Let's go, Bill. Let's go kick their ass, bud. Hey, Bill.
All right, Mike.
How you doing, bud?
Hey, great year.
Thank you. You too.
Yeah, thanks.
Whoever gets this one, let's go on and get the other one.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Let's end this damn thing.
That's exactly right. Exactly right.
We start right here! Right here! Down! Next stop, San Diego. All aboard.
Hey! Let me know I want this bad. The only thing is we can only play it one play at a time. Let's go out, walk the walk, play Bronco football, we'll come out champs.
No miracles today, John. No miracles today.
Hey! The only people that believe are the ones in here. I'm going to tell you, 60 minutes, the bottom line, play it hard, play it physical. Let's find a way, baby.
If the Broncos' first two plays from scrimmage were a sign of things to come, they wouldn't have wanted to go on.
Elway. Play action fake, he's back. He fires, the pass is intercepted with the football of Von Kirkland. It hit Shannon Sharp's fingers and slipped right into the hands of Kirkland, and the Steelers play takeaway right away.
The crowd noise at Three Rivers Stadium was music to the Steelers' ears, if not John Elway's. But the din did not help them capitalize on the takeaway.
It's a perfect 8 for 8 between 30 and 39 in the season. Snap is good, ball is down, kick is on its way, and it is no good.
All right!
Johnson's first miss of the year from between 30 and 39, and the Bronco defense keeps Pittsburgh off the board.
While the Broncos' first two plays nearly spelled disaster, the third was the charm.
Offset eye behind Elway. McCaffrey in motion left side. John turns hands off. Terrell Davis running left. TD over the 30. 35-40. Davis. Foot race. Midfield. 45-40. Terrell Davis pulled down from behind. Still on his feet. Bounced out of bounds. But he is inside the Pittsburgh 30-yard line.
The missing element on the Broncos' last four championship teams has been a dominant running back.
Go, go, go! Go!
But now comes Terrell Davis, the one player that could make this the best Denver team ever. He became the first runner all season to gain over 100 yards against the Steelers' #1 rushing defense.
Same formation, offset eye. Griffith in motion to the right. Toss, right side, Davis. Cuts up, Terrell Davis is 5. Terrell Davis into the end zone, touchdown!
Yeah! Touchdown!
While Davis has been a missing ingredient, quarterback Cordell Stewart looked like the Steelers' main ingredient.
CJ goes in motion into the formation, reverses back to the left. Short pocket pump. Rolling right is Cordell. He's going to run 30, 25. He's up the sideline. Cordell goes in for the Steeler touchdown. A 33-yard run off a beautiful play fake, and the Steelers are ready to eyeball these Broncos.
It looked easy on the surface, but without a big block from number 63 All-Pro center Dermontti Dawson, Stewart's path to the end zone may have fallen far short.
And then the Steelers about to get even with a Broncos.
Nice job. Let's go. A lot of football left. Let's go.
It wasn't until late in the first period that the Steelers' defense left an imprint on Terrell Davis.
Davis runs into a stone wall at the line of scrimmage, and the Steelers come up with a loose football. And I do believe it's the Steelers have the football.
It was the Steelers' second takeaway, and this time they would capitalize.
40, 35, first down to the 31-yard line. Jerome Bettis ahead of steam. Ray Crockett is the man who finally brought him down, but the bus was driving hard.
The bus left more than a few Broncos choking on his exhaust as he ran for 105 yards on the day.
The give us to the bus. He waits and punches off left guard for the Steeler touchdown.
All day long now. All day long. All day.
And we got ourselves a scoring contest here.
And I think a shootout favors the Steelers.
We're just getting started. It's going to be a long day for somebody.
That somebody was Cordell Stewart.
It's looking deep. Cordell Stewart loads it up and lets it go to the end zone. Pass is going to be fought for and intercepted in the end zone. Stewart is thrown into double coverage a lot today, but only this time do the Broncos make him pay.
Don't want anybody being tentative.
Yeah.
Don't let one play. Don't compensate for anybody. Play defense. Don't start to worry about your buddy. Trust, 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 trust.
In their first meeting in December, the Broncos dropped so many passes that it cost them the game. This time around, they held on tight, and with the help of a pass interference call, the Broncos found themselves at the Pittsburgh 15 with less than 2 minutes left in the half.
Elway will turn, play fake. He's in the pocket, throws in the flat, one-handed catch by Howard Griffith inside the 10, inside the 5 to the pylon, touchdown! Oh, what a catch by Howard Griffith out of the backfield. Griffith had the ball thrown behind him, wheeled around, snatched it with his left hand, and 15 yards later,
the Broncos got the ball back once more before halftime and laid down their strategy.
We'll just go spread red and run our basic cuts in pocket, okay? That way we can handle everything.
But their biggest break wasn't part of the plan.
Left side, down the left sideline pass is going to be incomplete. Interference is going to be called.
The call would help the Broncos cover 54 yards in 30 seconds.
Go red right open, sprint right option. To me, we can get out of bounds and get 5 or 6 yards. Yeah, I like that. Okay.
Elway with pressure on, rolls right, fires. McCaffrey inside the 5, Eddie Mack to the pylon. Did he make it? No, but he's going to be inside the 1-yard line.
Okay, let's go sprint right option.
Elway, roll right, same play. Fires the end zone, touchdown, Eddie McCaffrey, same play.
Hey, turnovers, too many big plays, pass interferences, so we're down 10. Yeah, we have some opportunities, we're 10 points down with 30 minutes to go. Been here before.
All right, let's bring in one of the stars of that first half, the Denver Broncos wide receiver Ed McCaffrey. And Eddie, first of all, congratulations on the big win.
Well, thank you.
I got to know, though, how does it feel for you to be in the spotlight? You bounced around the league a little bit with the Giants and the 49ers, and now you're a hero in Denver.
Well, I mean, the team's doing well. Everyone's really supporting the team. The fans are going crazy around here. It's a big game, obviously, the Super Bowl. I've had the opportunity to be at one of these games before, and the outcome was pretty favorable, and I'm hoping to have that same opportunity.
Well, Ed, we learned the name of one of your plays in that offense, spread right option. Ed McCaffrey, go down there and make a big play, not only for the play that should have been a touchdown to you in the first half, but the big play at the end of the ball game to try and help run out the clock. They just didn't seem to have an answer for it.
Yeah, I mean, I thought after the first time they might have changed the defense a little. I think once they played man, once they played zone. I'm not sure what they did the third time, but
they didn't play anything.
Yeah, they did.
Well, they didn't take it away. I mean, that's a play a lot of teams have. Green Bay has that play. San Francisco. There's a bunch of teams with that same play.
It looked like you were really upset at something in that game. That when you caught the touchdown pass, almost like you want to take it and stuff the ball in one of the Steelers' face. What happened?
Well, I was a little upset that they didn't give me the touchdown on the first time around, because
you were robbed.
It's hard to get it in the end zone. It's not easy, and you hate to have something called back like that. But thank goodness they did call my number up again, and John got one to me. It felt really good to get in there.
Hey, Ed, Terrell Davis, I know he had a heck of a ball game against the Steelers, but I understand that he's really having problems with his shoulder again, and his ribs are bothering him. Is he practicing right now?
Oh yeah, Terrell's practicing. That was news to me. I didn't know that anything was bothering him. I didn't ask him, but Terrell's a warrior. If he can go out there, he'll be out there and he'll be playing as hard as he can.
Ed, you come into this ball game against the Green Bay Packers as huge underdogs. You have to be a little bit shocked in light of the way this team's been playing.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think our team's been playing pretty well, but you look at the Packers, I mean, they're a great team. There's no doubt about it. They don't have a weakness. They're great on offense, defense, special teams. They've been playing great the last few weeks. No touchdowns in their secondary for 8 games. That's about as good as it gets. So we have our work cut out for us, but we're doing everything we can to get ready for the game.
All right, Ed, thanks, and good luck in San Diego.
Thanks, Chris.
Well, one guy on that Denver offense that is always in the spotlight is tight end Shannon Sharpe, and he'll join us after the rest of these highlights. And as we heard Bill Cowher say, the Steelers have been in this position before. 4 times they trailed by at least 10 points in a game and came back to win. And against the Broncos, they almost pulled it off again.
30 more, bud. 30 more.
Trailing by 10 at the start of the second half, Cordell Stewart and the Steelers opened the third quarter with a methodical 12-play drive deep into Denver territory. When it mattered most, however, Stewart's inexperience showed once again.
2nd and goal from the 5. Both receivers are to the left side. Stewart will throw. Short drop into the end zone. Pass going to be intercepted. Yeah! All right! Intercepted in the end zone. A terrible throw, and Alan Aldridge with a diving pick. The The Bronco defense has done it again. Third interception of the day by the Denver defense on Cordell Stewart, and that was not a good throw.
Oh, my. Right to him.
Let's go, baby. Lots of time. Let's go, man. Let's go. Let's go. God dang it, let's go. Hey, let's go. We're in great shape, man. We got them right where we want them. Now you're a freaking veteran. Now take care of the damn business. Let's go.
Despite Bill Cowher's vote of confidence, Stewart's next drive also ended in disaster.
Here comes out from Williams. One hand can't haul him down. Stewart still on the run. Hit from behind. Ball is free. Denver comes up with a big play on defense.
Great job. Way to hang in there, D. Way to hang in, D.
A lot of time. Worry about a lot of time.
They got a long way to go to get to us. We just can't take a chance of, you know what I mean? Just running down right now and hopefully get a couple first downs along the way.
The Broncos, however, were unable to control the clock or generate any more points, allowing Pittsburgh to stay within striking range.
Arthur, there's still a lot of time left. You gotta believe and you gotta trust. We're gonna find a way to win this thing.
The Steelers were given a big reason to believe with just under 3 minutes to play in the game.
Looks, surveys, has plenty of time. Breaks out of there, rolls right, fires for the end zone. Touchdown, Steelers! Charles Johnson in the back of the end zone, and the Steelers get on the board with 2:46 left.
Oh, a nice scramble by Slash, rolls out to the right and spots his man and drilled that ball to him.
With the Broncos' lead trimmed to 24-21, Denver needed to come up with a plan to control the ball and kill the clock.
Two different thoughts. We could go for the H2 or the double go. Or do you think we should run it?
The Broncos' decisions became even more crucial after they were stuffed on second down and faced a critical 3rd and 6 with 2 minutes to play.
Darren! Darren! Darren!
Get back!
Check. Okay. Check with me for timeout. Check with me. Check with me for. Hey, stay outside.
And the joint is going crazy, and you can hear this crowd in Berlin, Germany.
3rd and 6 for Denver at the Bronco 15-yard line. Snap is good. 5-man rush. John throws. Pass caught. First down over the 30-yard line. Shannon Sharp. First down, Denver. Biggest first down of the year. Elway to Sharp for 18 yards. First down, Denver. Oh, baby.
Time out.
Okay, now let's figure this out. They got 2 timeouts, right? Now, wait, is this game over? No, it's not far from it now. It's not far from it, though.
One more first down would help eat up the game's final precious seconds.
Elway turns, hands off Davis, bounces back left side. Davis breaks the tackle midfield. Terrell Davis first down, and he's staying in bounds. All right. The Bronco bench is bouncing up and down. The Broncos are going to Super Bowl 32.
Congratulations.
Thanks,
Great
bud.
job. I'm pulling for you, man.
Thanks.
Whatever you can do.
Thanks.
I can do help you. Let me know.
Thanks.
I'm pulling for you. Bring it home, okay?
Thanks. Denver goes to the Super Bowl. They are the AFC champions.
The Broncos became just the 5th wild card team to reach the Super Bowl and now set their sights on a bigger prize that has long eluded them.
This right here is not the one we want. I mean, this is not, I tell you what, we said it from day one. I said the big trophy is ahead of us. All we got to do is stay focused. There's going to be a lot of distractions that's going to happen. We've got a lot of guys in this room that have been there. And I'm telling you what, the greatest feeling in the world is going to be winning this next football game. And there's only one way you do it. We're going to have a plan. We'll not sit on the game, the schedule, what we have to do in preparation for the next game. And I guarantee you, the next one is a whole lot sweeter. Congratulations.
Coming up on HBO's Inside the NFL, highlights of Green Bay's defense totally turning back the San Francisco 49ers, and an interview with the Packers' inspirational leader, Reggie White.
All right, let's bring on the guy who made that game-saving catch last week, the Broncos tight end Shannon Sharp. And Shannon, we tried to get you on this program last week, but we were told that you were under a gag order. What were the Broncos afraid you might say to us?
Well,
knowing my personality, knowing how I am, they thought I might say something about Cowher or the defense or something to give those guys some bulletin board material. So they kind of kept me hush-hush, and, you know, I guess it worked out okay.
I want to take it 2 minutes to go. The whole season's on the line. 3rd down and 6. John Elway goes back to pitch, and he throws the ball about 400 miles an hour to you. But tell us, what did he say in the – I know he said something like, just go out and get open.
Okay, this is what he came in and he said, all thunder. And I said, John, we don't have that play in. He said, well, we have it in now. And so as we're breaking the huddle, I said, well, what do you want me to do? He said, well, you go get open. I'm like, go get open? What does that mean? I mean, because if I run the route, what you call, I'm supposed to go directly over the ball. So I'm saying to myself, go get open. What does that mean? Am I going to run an out? Am I going to run a seam? So I said, okay, I'm going to run 5 yards and turn around.
Let me ask you, have you ever seen him throw a ball any harder than that?
No, I haven't. And hopefully he doesn't throw it any harder than what he threw that one, because I didn't really have a chance to catch it with my hands. And basically, when I turned around, the ball was on its way, and so I just kind of threw my pad up there, and it kind of stuck to it. And it went high, and I was very fortunate that there was no one really close around me to put a lick on me, or I would have probably dropped that football. But it gave us an opportunity to keep the ball, make them use a timeout, and it really helped us get into the Super Bowl.
So, Shannon, you're telling us that when you broke the huddle, you had absolutely no idea what you were going to do, and that John had no idea what you were going to do?
No, I guess he wanted us to run thunder routes, which is 5 or 6 yards and stop. But we didn't have that play in the game plan. So I'm saying to myself, well, thunder, we don't have it in. So what do you want me to do? So he tells me to go get open. So I guess get open, and I'm saying to myself, well, get open means a lot of things to me. I can freelance, or I can run a route. And so I just decided to go down there and run 6 yards, turn around, and by the time I got up my break, the ball was on its way, and so I really didn't have a time to react or do anything. But I knew if I ran that route, the stop route, which is stop and turn around, if he threw it outside, I had an opportunity to maybe go out there and catch it. So if I'd have ran something else, I probably wouldn't have had that kind of opportunity. So I guess it worked out for the best.
Well, let me take you into the Super Bowl. You're playing the Green Bay Packers. The strong safety is Leroy Butler. Leroy Butler comes up, and he loves to knock people's head off. He's a very aggressive player. I mean, is this something that you can take advantage of?
Well, there's no question about it. I mean, I think if I'm matched up with Leroy, I like the chances. But by the same token, I think Fritz Sherman likes his matchup with Leroy on the tight end. And so, we're just going to have to see how it unfolds. I really don't know how they're going to play me. General rule of thumb, I guess everybody's saying, well, you have to be physical with Shannon Sharp, take him out of his rhythm, get him frustrated. And, I think Pittsburgh tried to do that last time, and it really didn't work. My thing is to go out there and make plays, whether I catch one ball or whether I catch 15. As long as we win the ball game, I really don't care, because if you look at the playoffs, I didn't have a whole lot of catches, but we won the ball game, and so that's what I'm most pleased with. 10 catches doesn't necessarily guarantee that we're going to win the ball game.
Your brother Sterling Sharp used to be a star wide receiver for the Green Bay Packers. Is he cheering for the Broncos in this one?
I kind of think so. He loves Green Bay. They gave him an opportunity to play in the NFL, but I think blood is a lot thicker than water, and he definitely wants me to go out there and do well. And because I'm playing for the Broncos, I'd be very disappointed if he wasn't cheering for the Broncos and wanting us to win.
Well, Shannon, we appreciate you taking some time to be with us, and good luck this week.
Thanks, Chris. Thanks, Nick.
Well, Shannon's going to have a lot of ticket requests for this Super Bowl, but nothing like teammate Terrell Davis. Nicole Watson has the story of the Broncos star running back.
The sight of Super Bowl 32 is familiar to Terrell Davis. For him, it's a return to the field where he played his final high school game, the city he grew up in, and proudly calls his second home.
Going back to San Diego is like a dream come true for Lincoln High's #1 son. In training camp, Terrell had a premonition that the Broncos would face the Packers for the big game in his hometown. He even set up these replica helmets in his Denver home well before the dream became a reality.
I really did. Early in camp, I was thinking about it. Even last year when I was down in New Orleans, I was thinking about the Super Bowl being down there, and I was like, well, maybe it wasn't meant for us to be in the Super Bowl. I'm saying maybe it's meant for us to be in San Diego, where I'm from. And so, I mean, here we are.
But the road to the Super Bowl has had its share of bumps and bruises. Against the 49ers on December 15th, he separated his shoulder. And 2 weeks later, he bruised his ribs against the Jaguars. Despite that, with 12 more rushing attempts, he will have carried the ball more times than anyone in a single season, including playoffs, a statistic that's even staggering to Terrell.
Is that why I feel the way I feel? That's why. Right. That's wild. That's wild. That's a lot of running.
You didn't know that?
I had no idea. It shows that even if you're beat up, I just kept going. I mean, I think pain is temporary. And where we're going is the type of thing with the goal that we're trying to set for ourselves and win the Super Bowl. Hey, that's going to last forever.
To help ease the pain, bubble baths have become a weekly ritual. But the best prescription calls for another home remedy. Davis's mom, a former nurse, provides her son with TLC.
Once you leave the complex and you've already had that treatment, you come home, my mom took care of me, put ice on me. She used to give me tea and soup. Mothers, they'll give you stuff, and you're like, Mom, what does this have to do with my injury? Oh, it makes you feel better. When I come home from games, she's at my house already, and she's already cooked. It just gives me that thing, a sense of family coming home to seeing her.
Katery Davis tries to keep her talented son grounded, even on the verge of superstardom.
Here he is, number 30, Terrell Davis. Terrell.
Like most superstars, Terrell is already being imitated. Now everyone wants to do that trademark salute.
If you're being saluted, that's the bomb. I've seen so many people doing it now. It's amazing. It's like your child. It's like your creation is went out of control. I'm sitting there watching I was watching a bowl game. I think the guy Yarmir Yager, the hockey player, Sean Kemp. I mean, like everyone's doing it. Every time I see it, I'm like, that's kind of tight.
But nowhere is the young phenom more revered than in his San Diego high school, where everyone is focused on Terrell's return for a pep rally next week to retire his jersey.
I'm happy the jersey's being retired in his name because he never left home. He's with us always. To see that one of their own making it big and willing to come back and share with them, especially with the girls, they love knowing that he's coming back.
Lincoln is a school that a lot of people look at as, this ghetto school. I mean, it's supposed to be in the hood. When I see these kids, and I'll have something to tell them. If you just keep the avenues open, I mean, miracles will happen, definitely.
And it would be a miracle for the AFC, who hasn't won a world title in 13 seasons. So as talk continues to swirl about Elway's last hurrah, Terrell notes that the chances of coming home with the Lombardi Trophy could be few and far between.
I look at Marino. I think he's been there, his rookie year? Never been back since. And people say, well, you're young, you have an opportunity. No, you don't. I have friends that are in the league now, been there 8, 9 years, never even seen the playoffs. So, I mean, it's tough. I realize that this window is very small. And so, I mean, I'm approaching this game as if I'm going out.
With his hometown as the stage, Davis plans to seize the moment. And while all the world is standing at attention, this Broncos soldier wants to give the ultimate salute.
Boy, this should be a very emotional game for Terrell Davis, going back to his hometown to play in a Super Bowl game. I just hope that he can put the emotions aside and concentrate on the game.
Lenny, I don't think he's going to have any trouble focusing. He's a throwback, one of those rough, tough players that we used to know in the old days when we played.
Like you.
That's right. But here's a guy who played last year through migraine headaches, this year a separated shoulder. He has cracked ribs. All he does is go out and play, and they win.
And he gets the week off this week, which should really help him. Don't forget the Denver Broncos were the wild card team, so they didn't get that first week off in the playoffs the way the Green Bay Packers did.
A week off? What is that? We never give Gary Myers a week off. We send him to some beautiful places. This week, the frozen tundra of Lambeau Field in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Looks like you're having a lot of fun there, Gary.
You know, I'm really disappointed you guys didn't make the trip with me. It's really balmy here. You know?
We'll catch you next week, Gary. Hey, the big news, of course, is a new television contract signed by the National Football League. Now, how is this going to affect salary cap and player salaries?
Lenny, this is going to have a tremendous effect on the league. You have to consider that this year the teams were paid $40 million in television money, and with a new contract, they're going to average $73 million. Now, the effect on the cap in '98 will be determined by how much of this TV money will be paid to the clubs next year. That's yet to be determined. The owners have a meeting in San Diego next Thursday. They'll probably get word then how the deal will be structured. Certainly by February 13th, when free agency starts, the clubs will know how much money they'll have to spend in '98.
Well, Gary, you have to believe, though, that the Green Bay Packers are going to be helped by that new contract and maybe now able to sign their big-name free agents, Dorsey Levens, Doug Evans, and Robert Brooks.
You know, Chris, there's no question this helps the Packers because traditionally Super Bowl teams have been picked apart by free agency because they pay their players a lot of money because they have the best players. You saw what's happened to the Cowboys over the last few years. Dorsey Levens is their biggest free agent. They also have Robert Brooks, Doug Evans. The extra money in the salary cap in '98 will make it easier for them to sign Dorsey Levens. They definitely want to bring him back next year.
Well, I know the agents for Dana Stubblefield of the 49ers and Ricky Watters of the Eagles have to be licking their chops right now.
Oh, I think all the agents for the top free agents are doing that. And I spoke with Current Policy, the president of the 49ers. They're getting an offer ready for Stubblefield, who's probably the #1 free agent in the market. They hope to get him an offer by the Super Bowl. They don't even want him to get into the free agency market in February.
Gary, the Dallas Cowboys do not have a head football coach. What's the latest on that?
Well, the latest name to surface is Broncos offensive coordinator Gary Kubiak. Because of league rules, they cannot talk to him until after the Super Bowl. Now, it's quite clear that Troy Aikman wants no part of being a consultant to Jerry Jones on picking a head coach, but I also think it's clear that Jerry Jones realizes what is needed for this team. Troy Aikman wants a disciplined coach in there. I think they're going to find somebody that's much closer to what Jimmy Johnson was over the years there than to what Barry Switzer was in his 4 years. And I think the coach that they bring in will make Troy Aikman happy.
Gary, get inside before your lips freeze because we want to talk to you a little later on in the show.
Okay, Lenny.
Last year, the Green Bay Packers hosted the Carolina Panthers in the NFC Championship game. This year, they had to travel to San Francisco. Big difference, but the same result.
Everything you got, the whole season, all in one day. Let's go. I'm asking, who are we? You are Tony Nani. Let's go. Who are we? Let's go.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the NFC Championship game. For the 5th time in 9 years, the road to the Super Bowl has to go through San Francisco. The 49ers have hosted this game amazingly 5 times in 9 years, but they failed to win it at home 3 of the last 4 times. Will that happen today against the Packers? The Packers have had the 49ers number. They've beaten them 3 in a row. The Niners think that's enough of that.
During the first half, the 49ers tried without success to establish their running game. They managed a mere 15 yards on 10 carries, but their passing attack was more productive. In the second quarter, Steve Young sought to erase a 3-0 deficit by dialing long distance.
Great deep drop by Young. Has time. Throws way down the right sideline. Stokes behind the defense. Has the catch. He's down to the 31-yard line. First down, San Francisco.
Great throw. Right on the money. And J.J. Stokes uses his height. Steve Young threw it up there for him to catch it over Tyrone Williams.
Young completed his first 10 passes, but his 11th found the wrong target.
Looking for him over the top, and it's picked by Eugene Robinson.
Eugene Robinson's 58-yard interception return was the game's first turning point.
Back up the left side of the 25, he gets to the 30. Now he's got room to the outside of the 45 to the 50. He may go if he doesn't fall down. Chris Tallman trying to catch him. He's inside the 30 down to the 27-yard line of San Francisco. What could be a game-breaking and making play for the Packers.
2 plays later, the Packers capitalized on Young's mistake.
Here's Freeman on a quick slant, and he caught it.
The 49ers flailed in vain at Antonio Freeman, who weaved his way into the end zone for what would be the first half's only touchdown.
15. He's gone. And he will score for the Packers. Freeman, an excellent job of shaking loose a Marquez Pope to turn it into from a completion to a touchdown.
Green Bay assumed a 10-0 lead. Then Favre and Freeman maintained the relentless tempo on the Packers' next possession.
Hey, that's play. Hey, come here. That was a great release, man. Great release. Here we go. Keep it going. Hang on to the football. Hang on to the football. Get your huddle back. Get your guys in the huddle. Let's go.
Freeman's 31-yard reception was the key play in a drive that saw the Pack march from its own 31 to the San Francisco 16. Freeman grabbed 4 passes for 107 yards during the first half. as he consistently confounded the 49ers cornerbacks, whose coverage was as soft as the soggy turf at 3Com Park. The 49ers were finally able to get some heat on Favre. After Favre was called for grounding on a 3rd and 15, Ryan Longwell missed a 47-yard field goal, and Mike Holmgren went searching for an official explanation as to why the Pack had been penalized.
Came right at me and I jammed and I was locked up. You got beat so fast we didn't have a chance. I know, we're talking about it.
Keep it going like that. Keep it going like that. We're going to win this game.
The Niners still trailed by 10 when Young, who had passed for nearly 200 yards in the first half, detonated another long bomb.
Pushing on Young, who throws way down the right sideline. Owens is there. Great catch. He's down to the 10. Wow, what a play by Terrell Owens over Tyrone Williams. Stretching both hands out, holding on in these rainy conditions.
But San Francisco would have to settle for 3 points instead of 6.
Young steps back to throw, throws to the end zone. Oh, what a catch! And they say he caught it out of bounds.
Coach was able to get 1 foot in and was pushed. And that's so judgmental. It's a real tough call to make.
With less than a minute remaining in the half, Green Bay chose to retaliate rather than rest on its lead.
Back drop by Favre. Pump fake. Throws way down the left sideline. Freeman's behind everybody and he's grabbed. I don't believe what Pope did.
Made the catch.
And he still came up with the ball bouncing off of Pope at the 25-yard line.
And the ball hung up and he had to come back to it. And one of the defenders tackled him at the 25, which will give the Packers a free shot at a field goal of about 43 yards. Hendrick to hold. Good snap. Ball down. Kick on the way. Long enough. Good. And it is good. Oh, what a big play to close the first half of the ball game. Ryan Longwell with the 43-yarder. And the Packers will leave at halftime leading 13-3.
So the Packers took a 13-3 lead into the locker room at halftime and had to feel pretty confident. Let's bring on Green Bay's Minister of Defense. Of course, that would be Reggie White. First of all, congratulations, Reggie, and thank you very much for joining us in the program. But my first question is, defensively, your game plan against Steve Young and the 49ers, what was it going into that game?
Well, the game plan was to keep Steve in the pocket. We felt like he was a major threat for us, and we worked all week on, pretty much keeping our rushes tight, not getting out of our lanes, because Steve, he can run out the pocket and hurt you. So we wanted to make sure that up front we stayed tight on our rushes. And, Fritz put together a beautiful game plan for us, and, it worked. It worked big time.
You know, in that game, not many people run sweeps to your side. I saw the old-fashioned burst to the sideline, shove the 49ers out of bounds. Is your hamstring well enough to continue that through the Super Bowl?
Well, Jerry, I told you my hamstring was all right 2 years ago.
Where'd you find that burst? How'd you get that burst back?
Well, my hamstring is fine, but the thing I wanted to do, one thing that we talked about the night before, Gilbert Brown had talked a little bit about it, we wanted to really commit to running from sideline to sideline. And, so that was my commitment, for this past week, was to make sure that I ran, got up the field as much as possible and try to run the guys down.
When I had a coach against you, you talked about the bull rush. You were famous for the headbutt, and you'd headbutt my guys so their knees started wobbling. I saw a little bit of that headbutt last week. You going to use that a lot in the Super Bowl?
Well, the thing about it is John, of course, is not as mobile as Steve, but he's just as dangerous as Steve. And, I'm sure that, dictating on what Tony Jones may do, it may change up some of the things that I might do. And just looking at film of the Broncos, there's certain things I think I can do, but I got to wait and see if they're going to be able to work once we play them.
I want to ask you about somebody you mentioned just a minute ago. That is Gilbert Brown, your teammate and defensive tackle. What does he mean to your defense?
He means a whole lot to our defense. I mean, people are afraid of Gilbert, in the middle. He he can hardly be moved. You know, usually if Gilbert is moved, sometimes maybe it's because he may not be using his hands. But when Gilbert gets his hands in on the guy, can't nobody budge him at all. And that's why he's so important in our defense. Him being in the middle pretty much completes our defense and makes the rest of us good.
Reggie, tell me at halftime what happened back there. What did your coach say, and were there any changes for the second half?
There weren't many changes made in the second half. Mike pretty much let us know that, hey, we had 30 more minutes before we go back to the big game. And, you know, he pretty much reiterated that to us. And if we just keep playing like we were playing, we will win the game.
I guess he believes in that theory. If it ain't broke, don't try to fix it. Reggie, please stay with us. We'd like to talk to you after taking a look at the second half highlights.
All right.
San Francisco 49ers have had a great 15-year run, close to a dynasty. A lot of people think the second half of last Sunday's game may be the end of that dynasty.
30 minutes stood between the Packers and a second straight NFC championship.
What's the word? 1, 2, 3, 4!
Mike Holmgren and Steve Mariucci, student and teacher. And the teacher showing the students some things so far today.
On the first play of the third quarter, a non-fumble call prevented the 49ers from getting back into the game.
Barb passes down the right flat to Henderson. He fumbles the ball, and they're going to call it an incompletion. Wow. I don't understand that either.
Instead of a 49er touchdown, the Packers retained possession.
Call the game, ref! Call the game, man! Both ways, ref! Both ways!
That's where they hit that guy. That's a fumble and a touchdown. Hey, next time we'll have to make them. Let's go, offense! Let's go, big go right here, offense! Let's go, baby! Here we go, Steve.
One 49er had a simple solution.
I got to do is get some points.
Let's go, baby! Come on, Steve! Let's go, man! Let's go!
The 49ers were grounded and gained a paltry 18 yards rushing in the second half. Delayed blitzes by linebackers like Bernardo Harris, number 55, disrupted the passing game. Steve Young was stripped, sacked, and held to 52 passing yards in the final 2 quarters. The 49ers trailed 16-3 in the fourth quarter, and while their offense thrives in the fast lane, this track was made for mutters. The field was perfect for the Packers and a slogger named Dorsey Levens, who became the first runner this season to gain over 100 yards against the 49ers.
This is how we like it. Yeah. This is how we like it. Best bad weather team in the nasty, muddy, dirty. That's our whole game, man. We're the worst weather team, baby.
68 handoff wide. Brown right. Now listen, if I tell you it's poached, don't check over, even though it's a good one.
Touchdown. Touchdown. Touchdown.
Brett on the handoff to Dorsey. And Dorsey scores it. Dorsey Levens into the end zone for the touchdown. And the Packers are going to San Diego.
Oh, we're going to San Diego, baby.
Aaron Taylor's up against the goal post, punching it a la Kenny Norton.
And the Packers celebration can begin. Yeah. Across the country.
He's in the barn now.
Well, it better be in Wisconsin at this time of year. And Levy will take
Trailing
it. Trailing
23-3, Chuck Levy became the first player in NFL history to return a kickoff for a touchdown in the conference championship game.
He's down the sideline. He's to the 30. It's a touchdown for Chuck Levy. 95-yard kickoff. Touchdown return.
2:52 remain, but the 49ers had just one chance for a miracle finish.
Packers, of course, with their hands team in there.
Tommy Thompson to kick. Packers got to get this ball on the onside kick. And Jeff Thomason at the 39.
It's the only game, baby. It's the only once again.
The jubilant Packers defeated the 49ers in the playoffs for the 3rd straight year. With their 7th consecutive victory and the 12th in the last 13 games, mighty Green Bay will sweep into Super Bowl 32 on a mighty roll. And these lovable, huggable heroes from the heartland will be heavy favorites against the Denver Broncos.
We were here 2 years ago, and we kind of established ourselves as a football team in this league at that time. All right? We won the Super Bowl. Repeating or getting there again, one of the more difficult things in sports you'll ever do. Ever do. We had our bumps in the road this year, man. But I am so proud of the way you handle this whole thing. And it's not one man, it's not two men, it's not five men. It's everybody in this room. Everybody. Because that's the Green Bay Packer organization. Hey, I'm proud of you, but what? We're not done yet, all right?
The Green Bay Packers are going back to the Super Bowl. Let's bring back number 92, Reggie White, to talk about that. You know, this is the second year in a row. Reggie, tell me, was it easier or more difficult the second time?
Oh, God, it was more difficult. You know, those first 7 games, we struggled real bad. And, you know, and I think what we realized is that we were trying to play up to all the hype that was, you know, around our team that was given to us from the public and the media. And I think Mike did a brilliant thing when he gave us that week off, because I think we needed more rest mentally than we did physically. And when we came back, we started playing just as well. And then the Indianapolis game, I think it kind of woke us up pretty much, and we started playing real well after that.
You know, Reggie, last week you were playing the nickel on 1st and 10. Can you play the nickel on 1st and 10 against a great back like Terrell Davis?
And I don't think you can, you know, against a guy like that. I mean, he's an excellent runner. He finds his holes and he hits them. And, you know, he's definitely dangerous. You know, if we slip up and not stop him, they're going to hurt us real bad. But the most important thing we have to do is really get out to that running game and try to get some pressure on John.
Well, let's talk about that guy that wears number 7, John Elway. You know, the Broncos and John Elway won 3 playoff games, and the reason, I think a big reason, was the great job the offensive line did in protecting John Elway against blitzing teams like Kansas City and Pittsburgh. How are you guys going to put some heat on John Elway?
Well, you know, I mean, right now we're putting our game plan together, and that's what we're trying to figure out. But the most important thing, I think, that you have to do, what opens that passing game up is what Terrell does. And if we can really get out to their running game, then I think we can put some pressure on John. But if that don't happen, then we could be in trouble.
I can remember when you were a Philadelphia Eagle and wanting to get to the Super Bowl. You come to Green Bay and get there and get the win. And now one of your Eagle teammates, Seth Joyner, is right there with you. Did you help recruit him? And what is he saying about going to the Super Bowl?
Yeah, I did help recruit him. And I talked to Seth, you know, about coming here. He wanted to be here. I mean, he felt that we had a chance to win, and I told him I felt that we had a chance to go back and do it all over again. And he wanted to be here. I mean, he's extremely excited. You know, Coach Mike pretty much told Seth that he was glad to see him smile, because Seth don't smile a whole lot.
Let me ask you something. I saw on television at the end of the game you were very excited. Looked like you were having a lot of fun. What about the future for Reggie White? How much longer are you going to play?
Well, you know, back in training camp, I signed a 5-year deal after last year, and back in training camp, I wanted to play 5 more years. I felt like I could. But, you know, one day I was sitting down in my room at training camp, and I realized my son is 11 and my daughter's 9. And, you know, I don't know if by the time I finish playing, after 5 years, he'll be 17 and she'll be 15. And not that I hadn't spent time with my kids and my wife, but I would like to give him more of me without having football on my mind. So, you know, I won't play that 5 years out. I'm taking it year by year, and you know, hopefully we'll see. But I don't see myself playing past 3 years.
Reggie, you've been a great player. Thank you very much for joining us. Good luck in Super Bowl 32.
You're welcome.
The Packers have a chance to achieve some immortality. They're trying to become only the 7th team in history to repeat as Super Bowl champions. Chris has more as we go inside the playoffs.
Three, two, one, world champion, Green Bay Packers. Look at this celebration.
The Packers rolled to last year's championship and now stand on the verge of achieving one of the most difficult feats in team sports, the repeat. Adding to the pressure was a brash prediction of an undefeated season by safety Leroy Butler.
Leroy said it was kind of like, in passing, okay, Leroy, whatever. But Mike made a statement this week that, you know, we could have went 19-0.
That's the way I felt, that we could go undefeated. And if you look at the losses that we've had, you know, it was possible.
The dream of an undefeated season ended early, and going into the bye week, the Packers stood at 5-2. Mike Holmgren, in an effort to revitalize the team, gave them the entire week off.
You know, we sat and we thought about it, and we said, hey, when we come back, we're going to come back ready to go, and we're going to play teams just the way they're playing us.
Holmgren's plan worked. From that point on, the Pack went 8-1, but did incur an embarrassing loss to the winless Colts, which left players and fans alike questioning their chances to repeat.
They were all in 10 at the time, and they beat us, and I was thinking maybe, you know, we don't have what it takes to repeat. Last year when we lost, it was like, well, it's a bump in the road. It happens. We'll be okay. We lost this year. It was the end of the world. It's like, God, what's wrong with the Packers? And we were within ourselves. What's wrong with us? Well, here we are again going to the Super Bowl, and it goes to show you that all that meant nothing.
What does mean something is living up to the expectations of the most storied franchise in pro football history. With 6 world championships in the 60s alone, including victories in the first 2 Super Bowls, these Packers still have a lot to live up to.
Yeah, you guys got to do it just like the guys back then do it, you know. Super Bowl 1 and 2, now we're Super Bowl 31 and 32, you know, it's almost, everything is kind of similar.
I think we're making our mark and making a stand for ourselves where 30 years from now people won't remember the 60 Packers, they'll remember the 90s.
It's a new era. They've really got a great football team. They got a team that they've been real proud of, and it's their day now, and the Lombardi glory days were years past, and that's over with, but the Holmgren days are here.
In fact, the Holmgren days are starting to seem a lot more like the Lombardi days. A victory over the Denver Broncos in Super Bowl 32 would make the long journey towards repeating complete and further mark this team's place in history.
If we could do this another time, maybe now we can all just take a deep breath and relax and enjoy it and really establish our own sense of history with the Packers.
Well, the Green Bay Packers are the heavy favorites against the Denver Broncos, but I'm sure they have to be concerned about being overconfident. Gary, come on back here and tell us. You've been in the locker room. How is Mike Holmgren addressing this problem?
Well, Lenny, I had an opportunity to speak to Mike about this, and he said at a meeting on Wednesday morning, he addressed with the players this overconfident fact. You know, the players hear all this talk going on about the AFC losing streak, how the Packers are supposed to win this game by a lot, and he threatened to them that he was going to show them the tapes of their loss to Indianapolis a few weeks ago when they lost 41-38 as a means to prove to them that the AFC has teams that can beat the Packers. I don't think he's going to wind up doing that, but I do think his message has gotten through because the players are talking about how the Broncos are the best team the AFC has put up in the last 5 years.
You know, Gary, despite all the efforts from Commissioner Paul Tagliabue to advance minority coaches in this league into a position of head coach, yet another job has now been filled, and Sherman Lewis, the outstanding offensive coordinator for the Green Bay Packers, wasn't even given a chance to interview for that job. Is that creating a problem?
Well, I talked to Sherman about this, and he says he doesn't want to be a distraction whatsoever to the Packers in their quest to win their second straight Super Bowl championship, but he admitted he is disappointed that both the Bills and the Colts went ahead and hired coaches without waiting for the Packers to be done playing. You know, he said, you know, on the other hand, that if they were interested in him, he's sure that they would wait. But in both cases, they hired coaches who can be considered recycled coaches, and Jim Mora and Wade Phillips. Both coaches have had opportunities in the past to be a head coach in the NFL.
Well, maybe Sherman Lewis can just stay right there in Green Bay. We always hear rumors about Mike Holmgren leaving.
That's right. And, you know, when we were here earlier this year, Chris, remember we talked about how Mike has said he would like to be a head coach and general manager and run his own show with a team, and I spoke to him again about this week, and he said that's still a thing that he wants to accomplish in this league. And I asked him if Seattle was to come after him as coach, general manager, would he be interested? And he said absolutely. He doesn't think that's going to happen, but he has discussed this with Ron Wolf, the general manager, and Bob Harlan, the president of the Packers. They know that is his desire, but he said he would not leave to be a coach with any other team, and he plans on staying here. In fact, he's moving into a new house in May.
Gary, the key to this game is going to be quarterback Brett Favre. What's this story I hear about his left shoulder and a rotator cuff?
Well, Brett has mentioned this week that perhaps after the season he might need surgery on his left shoulder. It's something that's been bothering him since training camp. It absolutely will not have any impact on his ability to play in the game a week from Sunday or how well he would play in the game. He says it's not really been bothering him lately.
Gary, thank you very much. Go get warm. We'll see you next week when we take our show on the road in sunny San Diego.
I'm looking forward to that, Lenny.
You get the feeling that he's anxious to get to San Diego and get out of Green Bay?
Are we taking him to San Diego?
Absolutely. We're even going to take you, even though you didn't do all that well in your picks last week. Chris, once again, was perfect.
Aren't you sick of this?
2-0.
Not me.
For the playoffs.
Chris 9-1.
9-1, 2 games ahead. We hate winners like that. Hey, be sure to join us next week as we travel to San Diego to preview Super Bowl 32 between the Green Bay Packers and the Denver Broncos. We'll break down the game. We'll be joined by special guests and make our final predictions of the year. So that's our show for this week. Remember, Inside the NFL premieres each Thursday evening at 11 p.m. If you miss any part of it, you can catch it again Fridays at 7 p.m. and Saturdays at 11 a.m. So for Nick, Chris, and Jerry, I'm Len Dawson saying thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week from San Diego, California, site of Super Bowl 32, on the show the pros watch, Inside the NFL. Over the last 100 years, maybe no other sport has undergone as vast a transition as ladies figure skating. So join us this month as HBO Sports presents Reflections on Ice, a diary of ladies figure skating, as we look back at the evolution, the sacrifice, the success and tragedy of the women in this sport. The revealing interviews and never-before-seen footage are basic staples of HBO's award-winning sports documentaries. Reflections on Ice premieres Tuesday, January 27th at 8 p.m. Eastern and Pacific. And join us this Saturday night, January 17th at 9:45 p.m. for a much-anticipated lightweight fight. Will Arturo Thunder Gotti's risky all-out offensive style work against red-hot Angel El Diablo Manfredi? Find out live right here on HBO.
Put it up on the board last night. This was going to be won at the line of scrimmage. We got to do our job. Get this done. Work day today, baby. Yeah, it's a work day. 1, 2, 3, work. Let's go.
Let's go, Cornell! Let's go, baby, let's go! Let's go! JB! JB! Let's go! Let's go!
Yeah, let's try to snap count. Okay, let's go with a Fox 3 run, a Fox 2 run, try to snap count. I write.
Yeah, Dorsey! You can't stop us, Mark! Just keep playing our game. Be alert for him taking it over. Right? You can. I mean, I can run. We'll get another guy.
Hey, all right, Johnny boy. Good luck, man. That's right. Good luck, too.
Whatever happens, the AFC's got to get one.
AFC, this is the year. Stay healthy.
This has been a presentation of HBO Sports.